Namaskar viewers, hello and welcome to Sansad TV. I am Teena Jha. Prime Minister Narendra Modi participated in the National Panchayati Raj Day celebrations on Monday in Madhya Pradesh's Rewa district. He addressed representatives and functionaries of the Panchayati Raj institutions and Gram Sabhas across the country. Now, on the occasion, he inaugurated various development projects aimed at benefiting nearly 9.5 lakh families of over 4,000 villages. The Prime Minister also handed over around 35 lakh Swamitva property cards to the beneficiaries. Now, with the handing over of these cards, about 1.25 crore property cards have been distributed under the Swamitva Yojana in the country since its launch on the 24th of April 2020. What is the scheme all about? What has been its objective? And what significant transformation it has brought about in the last 3 years? That's what we will look at in focus today. Two distinguished guests join me on the program. I'm pleased to welcome in the studio Dr. Nupur Tiwari, Professor, Indian Institute of Public Administration. Professor, thank you for your time. And joining us virtually is Mr. Avinash Mishra, Advisor, Panchayati Raj, NITI Aayog. Mr. Mishra, delighted to have you with us on the program as well. To you first, Professor, help us and our viewers understand what this scheme is all about. What was the primary objective when the scheme was launched in 2020?
Yeah, this is a central sector scheme of Ministry of Panchayati Raj, and this was launched by the Prime Minister Modi on 24th of April in 2020, with taking a pilot of 9 states at the time to see how it is taking up. And the first and the most primary purpose was to get to create the right to property record. This is giving a property card. Earlier, during the British time, during that land administration system, they used to have the record of agricultural land, not the land of where the people are inhabited. Like Abadi land was not, there was no record of that. So that was the primary purpose, to give the right to, the property card was given. This was the first motive. The second motive was, in the villages, there are a lot of land disputes. So when you have this record, this will be reduced. Third motive was that you have a very high resolution village map, GIS tagging and all those. So in that way, the planning process will be very realistic and also will be better. It will help in GPDP, that is Gram Panchayat Development Plan. And you will have a more realistic planning than to have a haphazard way of moving ahead. And the last but not the least was that Gram Sabha can now levy taxes because they have the record, and this will be taken as a, the revenue can be generated. And one more important, besides all these things, of course, they have the card is there in the hand, and this is also monetizing the land, like they can take the loans from the bank, for any purpose, once you have the asset and the property in the form of a record. So these were the basic objects where you could make the, e-GramSwaraj system, strengthening the e-GramSwaraj system, and also Atmanirbhar Bharat.
Clearly. So how much progress, Mr. Mishra, we've achieved over the last 3 years in meeting these objectives is something that we will discuss in just a bit. But before that, help us and our viewers understand what has been the genesis behind this idea. What exactly prompted the Ministry of Panchayati Raj to initiate this project, this reformative project,
actually,
I should say?
As far as to really boost the rural economy, it was very essential that the property which is there in the rural India should also be recorded. There should be record of rights, and also it should be monetizable. Keeping that in view, it was decided that each individual will first map the record of right, and thereafter a card will be given to them, and that card can be leveraged. Instead of having some money from the local lenders, it can be they can move to the bank and can also get the loan in lieu of that card, in lieu of that property. So this was one primary reason. Other reason was this, that the Panchayat was also keen to improve the services and thereafter to recover the service charges, that is the tax part, which can also be taken in terms of these services which they are providing. And also there would be a proper planning means because the complete the parcel, the abadi area will be digitized, will be mapped to the scale where is the 5 centimeter accuracy would be there. Thereafter, we can plan better even in the rural part of India, where the activity related to market, where the activity related to the growth centers on economy will come up. So that will again give the great fillip to the economic development. So this all was the motto behind it, and so far around 2.37 lakh villages where the drone survey got completed, and also the maps have been handed over to 2 lakh villages, and around 50,000 villages are such where the cards have been distributed to every individual, something to the tune of 7 crore. The completed parcels have been given, and this is also addressing to the smaller disputes those are coming up because of the division related issues among the people and among the society. So the civil cases have come down drastically because of this particular program and this scheme.
Okay.
It is progressing well, and we want that it should really be a great boost to economic development in rural India.
Okay, so it's been 3 years, Mr. Mishra, since the Prime Minister launched this scheme back in 2020. How many states is the scheme being implemented? Which are the states that have, not yet implemented the scheme? What are the reasons that they've cited for this?
Actually, initially 9 states were there where we actually gone for the for all the piloting, and thereafter 28 states are such where the activity has started or are likely to be started, and the regions as far as UTs are all there, but regions as far as non starting for this the preparedness by the local government and the local people. So, but we are trying to include as many as villages in that. So the preparedness, the reference network is also to be established, and that is also being established. So it will be a common datum point. So this all is continuous operating reference system, we say, that network. So we are progressing well because there are the constraints relating to drone, there are constraints relating to carrying out survey, and then thereafter the preparedness of the local government and local state people to be ready for the tuna lining and all which used to take place, and then to ground truthing and the verification if there are any dispute related to that.
So right. So we'll discuss these challenges, Mr. Mishra, in detail in just a bit. Let me bring in Professor Tiwari once again into the discussion to understand how enabling has this scheme been for the villagers in using property as a financial asset in terms of empowering them, something that has been the moot objective that we just discussed a while ago.
Yeah, certainly, because the financial asset in terms of if you have to take a loan or if you want to start something and keep it as a you have a monetary part of it is important for the rural people, because earlier they didn't have this asset. So wherever they want to start any of the things, it was very important, not only from the individual point of view but also from the community point of view. If you have a proper resources, because this will lead to the own resources of the panchayat system.
Yes.
So if you have your own resources by collecting tax by the gram sabhas, then this would lead to a lot of other, while you are doing the gram panchayat development plan, then you can decide and you can have your own asset of creating your own, if you have to start a panchayat bhavan, or if you have to start the hand pump somewhere, irrigation facilities is to be provided apart from whatever fund that you get from the government, or some kind of any kind of facilities that you want, it could be created. But the most important thing has been that individually, yes, they have gained a lot of things. But the coordination between 3 departments like the state Panchayati Raj system, the revenue department, and also the Survey of India in this is very important and has been a very important factor in the successful implementation of it. But at the grassroots level, at the village level, yes, there are lots of hurdles in terms of, because it is still just taken out from the pilot part. So we cannot give you a very clear, impact of what this kind of a monetization of property has been on an individual. But it is showing, and it's more a perspective that in future, Gram Sabhas and also individually people will be highly benefited by when you have this kind of a right to property, right to the property right, and also that you have a property card in your hand. That is a very empowering factor.
Okay, let's get a clearer picture on how the experience has been. What are the problems that the teams, in fact, there are multiple stakeholders involved in this exercise. So what are the problems that they've faced on the ground? Mr. Mishra, I'll come back to you. You know, ambiguity in property ownership has been a long-standing reason of dispute, and especially in villages, because of which they've not been empowered, especially if you look at the landless people. So now this has been a reformative project that the government of India has undertaken. The question now is about the practical problems, the hurdles that are being witnessed by the team, and how are you mitigating these?
So basically, as it has been indicated that the local state, the department, that is the Panchayati Raj department, the revenue part of it, and the Survey of India for carrying the drone operation, and also the establishment of the continuous operating reference station. So that all is required to be synchronized. So this is some part are technical, some part are from the state government, and some part from this central government, that is from Survey of India, and also the drone operators and the number of drones those are operating. So all put together, actually we are progressing well. But despite of that, the complete system is involved in the state government, while the markings are going on, the ground verification is going on, then the completed villages parcel, they are actually put for the rectification and the verification. So that all takes some time. But we are sure that by 2025, we would be completing the complete 6.2 lakh villages in the country. So I believe that let us see the positive part of the scheme, and we will be doing. And the card holders, those are getting their monetizing impact at least is coming up now gradually. And the Panchayat also hopeful for the better services to be provided to the rural India, and also to also the recovery of the taxes part, which is also one of the recommendation of the 15th Finance Commission.
And is there seamless coordination, Mr. Mishra, among the multiple stakeholders who are involved? What we've also witnessed in this particular project is it's a significant push for the geospatial industry. So what is the response that we see from the industry side? Are there established companies involved, or are there more startups who are fulfilling the demands?
Actually, it's the umbrella coverage of Survey of India, and thereafter for the drone companies, there are the startup companies, those are coming forward and they are working it. So it's that way we can say it's really happening on a scale because of the state of art, the technology is being used in terms of the drone recording, as well as the piloting and the drone survey which is taking place, and it is giving the complete detail. Now we have got the complete detail and all the minor facilities regarding the drinking water facilities, regarding the drainage lines in the village area, and also the proposed future prospect development, that also coming up. So it's a really big change, but let the mapping get over, then things will come automatically, and there will be a boost to the rural economy.
Okay. Professor, since we're talking about the challenges, there's no doubt in our country, digital transformation has changed our lives. It has been enabler in more ways than one. But something that we are still struggling with is data security, data privacy. So when projects of such large scale become a success, what's also important is to keep these two aspects in mind. How are we preparing that the data that is being used or that is being stored is not leaked?
Yeah, absolutely. As I said prior to this, that of course the coordination between three departments are quite good, but the basic challenge lies at the grassroots level, right, and also the challenge which you said. One of the most important challenge, not only in the data set, but also in many of the other areas, is that do we have the requisite manpower at the grassroots level to keep all these data intact? For instance, you need to have people who are trained. The training and capacity building aspect, as I was saying, and also keeping those intricate information is a complete area where it has much training and capacity building is required, and many agencies are now being involved into that. For instance, Maharashtra did very well. It is also taken as a case study for doing the implementation part of it quite well. And the reason which is stated is that it kept this program monitoring unit, started this, and it was a very intact and a very well coordinated unit that was taken up. Now at the grassroots level, you will find that the states are sharing the extent of Abadi in the Excel to the Survey India in the Excel sheet or KML file, which is at the grassroots level, at the village level, is slightly difficult to understand, especially the KML file. So it's very technical, very, very highly technical, not just a tuna marking, but yes, a technical part of it is involved, and at the same time keeping those technical data is also a challenge. So here complete training, monitoring, and also capacity building is highly involved. It's one part is technical, second part is how to do the survey method, data collection method, So many times that it has been identified that this village will, the drone survey will be done in this village, but during that time the tuna marking is not done. So this is postponed. Many times the drone survey has been done, but the tuna marking is not done properly. Then again the survey is done, redone. Many times it's a very difficult area, where it requires a lot of other coordinations at the grassroots level. So these are the challenges. As of now, number of efforts are being taken for this capacity building and training, but yes, it is taking up.
Okay. Mr. Mishra, tell us about how we are strengthening the framework of training, capacity building, ensuring security of data, as Dr. Tiwari just pointed out.
Actually, security of data, I think now the land records with the Department of Land Records and the Revenue Department, because you will see now the registration process, everything is in the data security is there. So already the state governments are sensitized to the great extent, and the shape files are being provided. And as it has been already said by Madam Tiwari, that some data are of the nature, so they are already of very secret type, so they are already with the Survey of India. Even today, we whatever data we want in terms of maps and everything, the Survey of India is the only authority which is responsible. So here also the repository is Survey of India. Only the part which has been outsourced is the engagement of drones and engagement of the flying cover, what is being provided by the cameras with the people. So it is all with the startups, but the security part is already with Survey of India. And I think
an expert committee, Mr. Mishra, had submitted a report on the Swamitva scheme last year, sometime in November. What are the key recommendations that they had made in terms of, accurate village level planning, also increasing capacity building, as we are discussing at state, district and block levels for GIS skill sets?
Actually, as far as the training need was one of the region which was indicated, and this is there with the people, those who are already at the block level functionaries, the revenue department and the functionary related to the panchayat. They need to know the data. They also need to know the type of maps, and because they have to go for ground recording, they have to go for tuna marking and all. So definitely now the training needs are there. It is being felt. We have already got MOU with 29 states, but it is progressing in a manner where the training and all hand-holding support is being provided. So this is one of the reason. But as I already indicated, data security part is already with Survey of India, and Survey of India has also got their the regional offices, so they look after with that.
Right.
And
so as the project progresses, there are challenges which are highlighted, of which solutions are, of course, being found by stakeholders. But Professor Tiwari, the situation that India is in, we are witnessing rapid transformation. We have also become the most populated country in the world with limited resources. The biggest challenge is to ensure that there is adequate infrastructure, well-planned infrastructure. In terms of that, how significant is this going to be? Do you also think a similar exercise is needed in the urban areas where also property dispute is a major problem and which becomes a hurdle in adequate planning?
See, as of now, we can look for this kind of a work for the urban areas, but I cannot comment as of now that how successful and what are the futuristic plan for that. But for the rural areas for which it has been marked, the whole idea has been to give you that what is the demarcation of your like for the house that you own or whatever the areas that you own, Abadi area, what is your demarcation? So that there is less of dispute and you have an asset on which you can take credit and you can take bank loan. And also when there is a nala to be taken out by the panchayat or other assets to be created by that particular administrative wing, there is no problem in doing it because you have the clear-cut map of it. But as of now, whether the infrastructure, it will help in creating more infrastructure, that we'll see what the future, the plans are. And
maybe
how
the optimum utilization
that will lead
the resources.
to, I mean, that could be the next phase of it. As of now, the implementation has only these objectives, and these are very, very promising objectives.
Right.
Right. And but one very important thing that the expert committee said was the very close monitoring of at the village level by the National Steering Committee and the State Steering Committee, so that it is done in a phase-wise manner. So that one recommendation, if is taken very closely, major problems at the village level will be solved. There is a very close monitoring. So here, I think monitoring part and training and capacity building part is the most important thing for very, very strong implementation of the scheme.
Absolutely. The key lies in effective implementation. So once the project, it's been 3 years, there have been challenges as we just discussed over the course of the program, of which solutions have been found, some are underway. But Mr. Mishra, is there an urban plan also for a similar project that the government of India is in the works?
See, as far as the digitization of land record is already going on in terms of the rural India, the agricultural land part, and this, the rural Abadi land is a fillip to that. So this is one. Now, as far as the urban India is concerned, we are already, it is in the ambit of the municipal corporations and the municipal bodies or the urban local civil body, which they need to see in that. And I think in many places, this activity is going on, the recording, because there the taxes are there, house tax, property tax are connected very much. So I believe that the drone base is to be done. The scale on which it is being done in rural India, that scale it is not has been done in urban India, but it is definitely required. Many states have already fought in this line, which maybe Delhi also one of them. And also in case of the Andhra Pradesh, Hyderabad, there few examples are there. But definitely we need a scheme, could be a subset of Amrit, where we can go for the rural urban India digitization of the Abadi area as well as the land recording.
Right. So looking at the progress in the rural areas, maybe this is something that could be replicated in the urban areas as well. But for now, the key objective of the Swamitva scheme, which is to promote a socio-economically empowered and self-reliant rural India. It's been 3 years. The scheme has been underway. As Mr. Mishra pointed out, it's seen tremendous progress. The disputes related to land have come down in these areas. And over the years, there are several challenges also which have been pointed out, the ground realities, which are also being, worked upon. So hopefully these challenges will have solutions to in the next few years, and it will be replicated effectively across the country. That having been said, I'll have to wind up the program. I would like to thank both my guests for joining me on the program today, sharing your thoughts with us and our viewers. And to you viewers, thank you very much for your time as well. I'll see you same time tomorrow now. Take good care of yourselves. Keep watching Sansad TV.